You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, let's turn our attention now to the new U.S. visa policy and how it affects Nigeria. The U.S. has imposed a partial travel ban on Nigerians and suspended entry for several visa categories. The new restrictions were published in a statement on White House website on Tuesday. The Donald Trump administration has imposed travel restrictions on Nigerians hoping to travel to the U.S., citing security concerns and difficulties in vetting nationals. The new restriction bars entry for Nigerians seeking to enter the U.S. as green card holders or on B1, B2, F, M, and J visas. This means Nigerians who hold visas for business, tourism, combined business and tourism, academic studies, vocational or non-academic studies, and exchange programs are now barred from entering the United States under the new restrictions. The U.S. raised the operations of radical Islamist groups in Nigeria and the persistent security crisis as some of the reasons for its decision. All right, let's bring in immigration attorney. He is Andrew Thomas. He joins me from the U.S., Massachusetts, to be specific. Good to have you join us. I seem to have had you, is it twice this week, on this issue of immigration policy or visa policy by President Trump. This is the latest one, and he's citing national security as the reason for this. I want to get your reaction before we move down specifically to Nigeria.
I believe so. Thank you, Precious, for having me once again. But before I address your question, we need to make a correction. You mentioned that green card holders are affected. If you are a citizen of one of those countries and you are a green card holder, you can go and come as you please. If you're already admitted inside the United States, this proclamation doesn't affect you. And it also doesn't affect some parolees and waiver eligible applicants. For example, those who are applying for immigration benefits, apply for a parole to travel to Nigeria, for example, it doesn't affect them as long as they stay on the safe side and return before January 1st, 2026, when the proclamation takes effect. The president or the U.S. government decided to issue this proclamation under the guise of restricting entry based on identity verification issues, integrity of passports, and some other reasons. And the president derives his authority from two sources: Immigration and Nationality Act sections 212, section F, plus section 215, subsection A. It gives the president broad powers to suspend or restrict entry on any class of
visa. And I understand the F, M, and J. A lot of people are confused on what all of this means. We know it has to do with academic study visas, exchange programs, business and tourism. But explain this to us and what it means and how the implication of this for people who are seeking these categories of visas.
What it means is that even if you have a visa before January 1st, 2026, entry is not admitted, is not guaranteed. That's admission and inspection. That's what it's called. An officer of the Customs and Border Protection sees if you can be admitted. With this proclamation, you may not be admitted. So this affects generally new people who apply for visas who are from these 15 countries, including Nigeria. This affects people outside the U.S. seeking admission who already have a visa based on the B1, B2, F, M, and J. And the effects are going to be wide-ranging because the United States is hosting the World Cup, even though Nigeria may not have qualified. Nigeria supplies one of the highest numbers of foreign students to American colleges. That is also going to affect. So many people have ties to the United States by way of family, friends, and professional contacts. So I want to see how they will do this. But it's up to the Nigerian government and the governments involved to press because, in case you don't know, visa processing for US consulates is funded by those who apply for visas. The USCIS, the agency who administers immigration benefits in the United States, is wholly funded from fees people pay for petitions. They only get 4% of funding from the US Congress. So let's see how this is going to play out and how long they will be able to hold up with this proclamation, which is always up for review within 180 days or every 6 months, as the case may be.
So this, I like that you mentioned the Nigerian government. I have a few minutes left and I want to speak to it because this is not the first time we're being included in some level of, some form of visa restriction or limitation. But as a government here in Nigeria, we've not seen the ability, to move the needle, whether by negotiation or by reciprocity. And I want to ask you what you think the limitations are, the challenges are on the Nigerian side.
Well, I wouldn't speak to the challenges of the Nigerian government because I don't work for them. But I think what they can do is leverage certain optics that favor the Nigerian government because this is about governments and systems, and citizens or people who want to travel back and forth are the ones who are directly bearing the brunt. It's up to the Nigerian government to make sure that the processes are as transparent and have as much integrity as possible. The case of having non-state actors being a reason for vetting, there's really no basis for that because practically there are non-state actors all parts of the world. So I don't see that as a basis to deny some countries from having their citizens move back and forth to the United States. It's up to the Nigerian government to make the systems more transparent, share more data, and press for the inclusion of Nigerians in decision making when it affects Nigerians because Nigerians contribute a lot to the American economy, and that's a leverage for the government to speak to. But on my part as an attorney, I believe this proclamation can be challenged on any grounds, even though the president has legal authority to declare it. It can be challenged on how it is applied because it is an overbreadth. There are implementation errors. Why is it that there are about 26 African countries out of 39 countries? There are likely individual due process violations because it's a case-by-case basis. You can't just put a blanket ban because people overstay visas. And there are likely issues of improper denial or waivers because it is almost certain that when people show up, even before January 1st, they might still want to deny them entry, even though they have a valid parole to travel to see their family in Nigeria or in any of these countries affected. So on that basis, those 4 bases, this can be challenged in court. There's no doubt the president has authority and pretext to declare proclamation, but it's overbroad and it appears to have violated due process.
So I wish we could talk about the overstay of visa, but my time is up because that's one of the major issues also highlighted in that document. Always a pleasure to have you on. A U.S. immigration attorney.
Thank you, Precious.
Andrew Thomas. All right, that's What Now. Remember, for the international stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website.
United States of America has just updated their travel ban list. And what this means is that more countries have been added to the travel ban. Now, this is big because they also added a partial ban to many countries. And basically for the partial ban, what that means is that you cannot get a visa to come and study in America or to come travel here as a tourist. All of this goes into effect in January of 2026. So if you're looking to study in America next year and you come from one of these countries, then you would not be able to. Now, what I'm going to do is actually go through the list of all the countries that are banned. Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, Syria, Chad, Burma, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. Now, the countries on the partial ban are Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Venezuela, Angola, Antigua, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Dominica, Gabon, the Gambia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria, Senegal,
Hey, shout out to
Tanzania,
you, Abby.
Tonga,
How you doing, Mama?
Zambia, Zimbabwe.
Welcome,
What this
guys.
all means is that if you come from any one of these countries and you only have citizenship of that country and not dual citizenship in another country that's not banned, then unfortunately you won't be able to come and study in America next year because it'll be very hard for you to get a visa. Now, this is devastating news and it's going to be challenged in court, of course, but again, we just don't know what the outcome is going to look like. So what I would say to my community is I'd still encourage you to be applying to universities in America just in case they lift the travel bans. Now, I will keep you guys updated on any changes. So do make sure that you're following my page so that you stay updated with the most important immigration news. The United States of America has just updated their travel ban list. And what this means is that more countries have been added to the travel ban. Now, this is big because they also added a partial ban to many countries. And basically for the partial ban, what that means is that you cannot get a visa to come and study in America or to come travel here as a tourist. All of this goes into effect in January of 2026. So if you're looking to study in America next year and you come from one of these countries, then you would not be able to. Now, what I'm going to do is actually go through the list of all the countries that are banned. Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, Syria, Chad, Burma, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. Now, the countries on the partial ban are Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Venezuela, Angola, Antigua, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Dominica, Gabon, the Gambia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria, Senegal, Tanzania, Tonga, Zambia, Zimbabwe. What this all means is that if you come from any one of these countries and you only have citizenship of that country and not dual citizenship in another country that's not banned, then unfortunately you won't be able to come and study in America next year because it'll be very hard for you to get a visa. Now, this is devastating news and it's going to be challenged in court, of course, but again, we just don't know what the outcome is going to look like. So what I would say to my community is I'd still encourage you to be applying to universities in America just in case they lift the travel bans. Now, I will keep you guys updated on any changes. So do make sure that you're following my page so that you stay updated with the most important immigration news.
All right, guys, you're welcome to Political Roundtable with UB. Please, can you help me check if you can hear me? Please drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Please, anybody? Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. So, I quickly want to give just some advice when it comes to this travel ban. And unfortunately, Nigeria has finally made it to the travel ban. If you ask me, I will say this. Whatever you do right now as Nigerians, I will advise against applying for any of the visa categories that the US has banned Nigeria for. Don't waste your money. Honestly speaking, that would be my sincere advice. This is not the time for you to apply for any of the visa categories that President Trump administration has placed a restriction on. I know we Nigerians, we are emotional. Some people gonna say this is wickedness. Why would he do this? And all sort of controversy will be out there. But I got to be honest with you, President Trump don't play. Okay? President Trump don't play. And if you ask me, is it okay for President Trump to include Nigeria on this list? My honest opinion would be yes. If you consider the insecurity situation in the country, coupled with what is happening all around the world right now, almost anyone who is the president of the United States will take the same step. Remember, I've said it here over and over again, that America don't play with the lives of their citizens. And if you also remember, President Trump, on the two occasions when he ran for the presidency, immigration was at the top of his agenda. And he has said on multiple occasions that he's not going to tolerate unlawful migration to United States. So in all honesty, I think President Trump is just fulfilling his campaign promises. But ever since, sorry, I'm just confirming my audio. Ever since President Trump has designated Nigeria as a country of particular interest, I've always expected that one day he's going to shut the door on Nigerians planning to come over to the United States. And again, I think the president is within his right to do so. During our show yesterday, I emphasized the need for the Tinubu administration to be proactive, especially when it comes to the security of lives and property. And 2 weeks ago, a delegation of American diplomats visited Nigeria to have first-hand data collection process where they can actually confirm if there was Christian genocide in Nigeria or not. And as soon as Rep. Limor came back to the United States, he appeared on Fox News and made it clear that they are going to give their report to President Trump. So I knew it. I know this is coming. If you are monitoring events in the United States, more Nigerians are finding themselves in ICE custody. And unfortunately, even people with green cards, they are being picked up. As soon as they got stopped by the immigration, by the ICE, law enforcement handles the immigration service. Once they ask for your Social Security and they can confirm that there are any issue at all on your record, there is no other way you're going to walk away from them. You will end up in ICE custody. There was this incident that was trending last week. A Nigerian guy who was here on student visa was stopped by ICE, and while they were trying to verify his status, one of the ICE officers got into his vehicle. His girlfriend, that happens to be an African-American lady drove off, and another ICE officer jumped into the front seat. So while the chase was on, the lady drove straight to the police department. And as soon as they got there, they were hoping, because the city was considered one of the sanctuary cities, they were hoping that the police officers could actually rescue them from the ICE. But unfortunately, the ICE were operating on federal authority. So there was nothing the police can do. Now, both the Nigerian dude and his girlfriend, they are cooling their asses in jail. So this visa ban is real. I'll say that again. This visa ban is real. And as you've heard from the video I played so far, this is going to take effect from January 1st, 2026. So if you have anyone who's planning to come over to the United States for study or maybe business visit, B1, B2 visa, and the like, I will advise such person to stop. Your visa approval is not guaranteed. Well, it's painful, it's disappointing, but again, I can't blame America for taking these steps. If you are familiar with what's going on the internet, you would have learned that this week there was some shooting in Australia, and even right here in the United States, about 3 weeks ago, some U.S. Reserve Army officers were shot. So this step from President Donald Trump is necessary. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to play the video again, especially for those who are Nigerians and Africans who might not have a full understanding of what is happening. So take a listen once again.
TVCnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles on Facebook.
Shout out to you, Sister Yinka. How you doing, ma? Sister Yinka says, Nigeria had it coming. This is sad. This is how actions of others affect the lot. I absolutely agree with you, my sister. I agree with you. Young Famous said, that is good. What is good about this, brother? Just like Sister Yinka said, I got to be candid with you. Like Sister Yinka said, a lot of innocent people are being affected by the action of the few. Basically, those who engage in insecurity and banditry in Nigeria, they are not even guys who will come to the United States on the norm. I have not seen as many Northerners in America like the rest of the people in the other parts of the country. But it is what it is. If Americans said, we don't want you in our country, there is nothing you can do about it. Now, let's get some things straight, though. The people who are going to be affected by this restriction are those who are applying for visas, not those who are already here. And maybe the few people who might be so unlucky and got affected will be those who visa just got approved and they haven't traveled yet. So if they embark on the journey, as soon as they hop into the flight, once they get to the port of entry, it becomes a 50-50, okay? So while I'm saying all this, is for us to know that we are living in a dangerous time right now that calls for prayers. If you have family and friends in the United States, please pray for them. They need your prayer right now. Many people are scared, especially those on green cards and visitation visas. A lot of them are scared. So please pray for them, especially if you know you depend on people living in America for your means of livelihood back home. I think this is now the time for you to embark on 40 days fasting and prayer. Shout out to you, Uncle Patrick. You're welcome, sir. Uncle Patrick say, "You be real fam." Is it real? The report of Riley Moore was shocking with what he saw. PBAD need to do something about insecurity. Honestly speaking, I think PBAD is trying, but it's coming a little bit late now. The damage has been done already. When Riley Moore went to Nigeria, he visited Benue State and he saw the IDP camps with over 600,000 people living in the camps. And he visited some clergymen also, I think except for Bishop Kuka. All other clergymen he visited, they gave him a first-hand report of how these insecurity situations are taking place in Nigeria. So for me, I'm not surprised at all that President Trump is coming up with this travel restriction. And if you also remember, I think last month during one of our episodes on PRT, I was advising some people that if you truly don't have anything seriously that you have to go and do in Nigeria, especially if you are on visiting visa, student visa, and the like, please don't go. Some people heeded the advice, while some ignore it. At least I know a couple of guys who actually canceled their travel plan because of all these ICE operations that were ongoing. Well, we can't really do much than to pray for everyone. I want you to take a listen to this report once again, especially if you are interested in what is going on as far as immigration services are concerned in the United States. Take a listen.
The US has imposed a partial travel ban on Nigerians and suspended entry for several visa categories. The new restrictions were published in a statement on White House website on Tuesday. The Donald Trump administration has imposed travel restrictions on Nigerians hoping to travel to the U.S., citing security concerns and difficulties in vetting nationals. The new restriction bars entry for Nigerians seeking to enter the U.S. as green card holders or on B1, B2, F, M, and J visas. This means Nigerians who hold visas for business, tourism, combined business and tourism, academic studies, vocational or non-academic studies, and exchange programs are now barred from entering the United States under the new restrictions. The U.S. raised the operations of radical Islamist groups in Nigeria and the persistent security crisis as some of the reasons for its decision. All right, let's bring in immigration attorney. He is Andrew Thomas. He joins me from the U.S., Massachusetts, to be specific. Good to have you join us. I seem to have had you, is it twice this week, on this issue of immigration policy or visa policy by President Trump. This is the latest one, and he's citing national security as the reason for this. I want to get your reaction before we move down specifically to Nigeria.
I believe so. Thank you, Precious, for having me once again. But before I address your question, we need to make a correction. You mentioned that green card holders are affected. If you are a citizen of one of those countries and you are a green card holder, you can go and come as you please. If you're already admitted inside the United States, this proclamation doesn't affect you, and it also doesn't affect some parolees and waiver eligible applicants. For example, those who are applying for immigration benefits, apply for a parole to travel to Nigeria, for example, it doesn't affect them. as long as they stay on the safe side and return before January 1st, 2026, when the proclamation takes effect. The
right,
president or the US government decided to issue this proclamation under the guise of restricting entry based on identity verification issues, integrity of passports, and some other reasons. And the president derives his authority from two sources: Immigration and Nationality Act sections 212, section F plus section 215, subsection A. It gives the president broad powers to suspend or restrict entry on any class of
visa. And I understand the F, M, and J. A lot of people are confused on what all of this means. We know it has to do with academic study visas, exchange programs, business and tourism. But explain this to us and what it means and how the implication of this for people who are seeking these categories of visas.
What it means is that even if you have a visa before January 1st, 2026, entry is not admitted, is not guaranteed. That's admission and inspection. That's what it's called. An officer of the Customs and Border Protection sees if you can be admitted. With this proclamation, you may not be admitted. So this affects generally new people who apply for visas who are from these 15 countries, including Nigeria. This affects people outside the US seeking admission who already have a visa based on the B1, B2, F, M, and J. And the effects are going to be wide-ranging because the United States is hosting the World Cup, even though Nigeria may not have qualified. Nigeria supplies one of the highest numbers of foreign students to American colleges. That is also going to affect. So many people have ties to the United States by way of family, friends, and professional contacts. So I want to see how they will do this. But it's up to the Nigerian government and the governments involved to press, because in case you don't know, visa processing for US consulates is funded by those who apply for visas. The USCIS, the agency who administers immigration benefits in the United States, is wholly funded from fees people pay for petitions. They only get 4% of funding from the US Congress. So let's see how this is going to play out and how long they will be able to hold up with this proclamation, which is always up for review within 180 days or every 6 months, as the case may be.
So this, I like that you mentioned the Nigerian government. I have a few minutes left and I want to speak to it because this is not the first time we're being included in some level of, some form of visa restriction or limitation. But as a government here in Nigeria, we've not seen the ability, to move the needle, whether by negotiation or by reciprocity. And I want to just ask you what you think the limitations are, the challenges are on the Nigerian side.
Well, I wouldn't speak to the challenges of the Nigerian government because I don't work for them. But I think what they can do is leverage certain optics that favor the Nigerian government, because this is about governments and systems, and citizens or people who want to travel back and forth are the ones who are directly bearing the brunt. It's up to the Nigerian government to make sure that the processes are as transparent and have as much integrity as possible. The case of having non-state actors being a reason for vetting, there's really no basis for that, because practically they are non-state actors all parts of the world. So I don't see that as a basis to deny some countries from having their citizens move back and forth to the United States. It's up to the Nigerian government to make the systems more transparent, share more data, and press for the inclusion of Nigerians in decision making when it affects Nigerians, because Nigerians contribute a lot to the American economy, and that's a leverage for the government to speak to. But on my part as an attorney, I believe this proclamation can be challenged on any grounds. Even though the president has legal authority to declare it, it can be challenged on how it is applied, because it is an overbreadth. There are implementation errors. Why is it that there are about 26 African countries out of 39 countries? There are likely individual due process violations, because it's a case-by-case basis. You can't just put a blanket ban because people overstay visas. And there are likely issues of improper denial of waivers, because it is almost certain that when people show up, even before January 1st, they might still want to deny them entry, even though they have a valid parole to travel to see their family in Nigeria or in any of these countries affected. So on that basis, those four bases, this can be challenged in court. There's no doubt the president has authority and pretext to declare proclamation, but it's overbroad and it appears to violate due process.
All right. If I have to be honest with you guys, I would say this lawyer actually has a good point. And if we're looking at it from legal perspective, yes, you can challenge the decision. But if I have to be candid with you, with what I know and what usually happen when America make these proclamations, I would tell you straight off, do not waste your money challenging anything, except if you are already here and you are in ICE custody. Well, you have no option than to seek legal counsel. But if you are thinking, I'm still going to go ahead and apply for all these categories of visas, and if I got denied, I'm going to take them to court. I'm going to make sure I fight this out. My brother, my sister, you are going to waste your money. And I don't think it is worth it. Right now, I have with me Uncle Dio. Uncle Dio, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine, Uncle Beno. Good evening, real fam. Good evening, Uncle Beno. How is everybody? I hope you're all doing great today. Thank you for
Yeah, we
having me,
thank
sir.
God. We thank God we're doing great. I woke up today to this news and I'm like, all right, I think this one is priority. Maybe we should discuss this before thinking of any other thing. So, Uncle Dio, as somebody in Nigeria who hopefully you have children who might be planning to come over to United States for study or maybe for visiting, even you yourself, what are your thoughts about this visa ban?
I think it's a mixed feeling for me. I'm having mixed feeling because it's like while the guilty is being punished, the righteous too will partake in the punishment. Because as it is now, you cannot blame the United States government for putting a restriction on Nigeria and some countries in Africa as per the visa entry. At the same time, also, they have the right to protect their country and to decide on who they allow or not to enter into their country. But we as Nigerians, in this process now, some of genuine Nigerians that have legitimate businesses or that need to go back or that need to do something in America states may be denied that opportunity. It will cost some people a lot. Some people will lose money, and some people will have to forgo so many things that they have already achieved. So that's why it's a mixed feeling for me. The purpose um, is not being overlooked. At the same time, we have to also consider the implications on the people of the country as well. And according to Riley Moore and according to what you have said so far, the situation of this country presently is not really palatable, so to say, because we are the author of what is happening to us now. We are the one that created this problem for ourselves because we have failed to check our insecurity nature for so many years now. And this now spiraling back to affect us as a country. And it does not really speak well for us because it's going to affect people's businesses, people that have businesses both in Nigeria and in the United States, people that have their new things to do, students that are schooling, that are going back and forth. I pray they will not be turned back. So all these things really matters. And these are the issues that is really bothering me. So whatever it is, we are where we are. We have to weather the storm. Thank you.
Thank you for that take, Uncle Dio. Basically, if I have the power to have placed visa restriction on Nigerians, I would rather say President Trump should have targeted the politicians and their family. Frankly speaking, The Nigerians who are going to be affected by this has nothing to do with the insecurity situation in the country. The politicians are the one who ignore their responsibilities and rather focus on all these shenanigans and other non-relevant um, administrative responsibilities that they are supposed to be discharging in Nigeria. They are the one who send their children, their wife, their family, and themselves to the United States in order to avoid their responsibilities. So I think President Trump should have taken this one step further by placing visa ban on all Nigerian politicians, honestly speaking, because I don't think innocent Nigerians who are just seeking greener pastures or just want to better themselves should be the one to pay for all the nonsensical shit that is going down in Nigeria. That's just like my own opinion. Anyway, let's take our first poll. The poll we have right now is: do you think Trump is right to restrict Nigerians' visas? If you think Trump is right to have taken this decision, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think, oh no, I don't think this is right, this is like injustice on Nigerian immigrants, drop a 2 in the chat. And if you think, well, I'm undecided, I think it may be right, it may be wrong, drop a 3. Let's cast this vote real quick, please, everybody. And while we're doing that, I'm going to read some comments. Shout out to you, Auntie Grace. Auntie Grace is in the building. My sister, Ronke said, how did Trump go from helping save Christians in the country to banning everyone, regardless of the need for the visa? Good question. Good question. Now, if I have to address that, I will say this based on my knowledge as an American, that American lives matters. And American do not support or embrace or have any sympathy for Islamic jihadists. And for the longest, we've had this insecurity situation in Nigeria, going by the activities of the Boko Haram, ISWAP, Fulani headsmen, and the number of people who have lost their lives in Nigeria. Remember, last month, a couple of countries put out travel warnings, and Nigeria topped the list of the countries that they actually want their citizens from traveling to. And by the time the US delegates visited Nigeria, I think what they saw on ground was shocking to them. And I've said this before, with all due respect to President Donald Trump, I don't think President Trump has any love for Nigerians. But at the same time, if President Trump felt that the killing of Christians in Nigeria is concerning and designated Nigeria as a country of particular interest, I think I support President Trump on that one 100%. Now, the onus is on Nigerian government to do the right thing. Let's look at ourselves in the mirror. The onus is on the President Tinubu administration to do the right thing. Why should we have this high rate of insecurity in Nigeria? Why does it sound like Nigerian lives don't matter? And like I've said on multiple occasions, if you were not affected by the insecurity, everything will seem okay to you. If neither your brother, your sister, or your relative, your friends are victims of this senseless unaliving in Nigeria, you can look at it and say, well, all is fine. I've also said this before, that if you live in cities like Lagos, states like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and maybe some of the well-secured states in Nigeria, it's just going to seems like, oh, nothing is really happening. It's just news. All these killings and kidnapping will just amount to statistics to you. But if anybody has a relation who had become a victim or fall as a victim to all this insecurity situation in Nigeria, then you're gonna realize that this is an epidemic. Something has to be done. So for me, my sister, I think President Trump is justified in his decision. All right, let me take the poll real quick. If you are still watching, our first poll for today is: do you think Trump is right to restrict Nigerians' visas? So Uncle Dayo said two. Uncle Dayo said no, really. uh Ronke said injustice with capital letters. Joe Ben said 3. You are undecided. Kenneth, what's up, Kenneth? Kenneth said 2. No. Antigua said undecided. Ayodele, how are you doing today? Ayodele, they said you have said it all. He should have banned all the politicians in Nigeria, including Bat. Seriously, my brother, I think that should have been the right call. The innocent Nigerians are not supposed to be the one to pay for this nonsense. The politicians, I tell you this and I'll say it again, as soon as the politicians are feeling the heat from international communities, as soon as their children are being denied admission into high league universities in Western world, they will begin to look inward. But look at them in the Senate. Check the House of Rep in Nigeria. These guys don't even promote any bill that seems they are serious about the situation in the country. So for me, this is more or less like innocent people paying for the sins of the elites, honestly speaking. Right now, there is this battle ongoing between Dangote, one dude who is heading NMP, whatever. I don't even know. They have all these crazy commissions or whatever directory they set up in Nigeria just to steal money. Dangote
His
was
name
going.
is Farouk. His name is Farouk.
Yes, thank you, sir. Dangote was going after that dude, and it was shocking when Dangote revealed that this dude has spent $5 million educating his children in the Western world. Come on, people. And Dangote told him, if you dare me, I'm going to petition the schools to publish what you are paid. These are the issues. Somebody who got his family, his children, living in United Kingdom, America, Canada, France, Germany, Italy. Do you think they care about what's happening to innocent, poor Nigerians? No, they don't. So, my brother Ayodele, I'm with you on this one 100% too. I think the wrong people are the ones who are going to suffer for these consequences of all the nonsensical practices ongoing in Nigeria. Shout out to you, my lovely sister Honey Babe. How are you doing today? Yemi said, this is best for Nigeria at this time. If Nigeria is handling its affairs correctly, the ban on Nigeria would not matter. Absolutely. And if you remember on our show yesterday, I told you guys that, look, nobody can fix Nigeria for us. When I was talking about President Tinubu and this MOU they signed with France, I think we addressed that yesterday, Okudayo and I. My take was, we don't need no foreign body, foreign government to come and solve our problem for us. We have the human capital, we have the expertise to handle our businesses. And to the Western world, if you have to run to them every time you're having problems, they won't just take you seriously. They just feel like you don't know what you're doing. And President Trump has always looked at Nigeria like, oh, this country, they are a mess with the resources, both natural and human resources that we got with our population. Right now, I think they put our population at, is it 230 million or 260 million or something now? And yet, we can't manage our own affairs. Everybody was just doing whatever they wanted. Politicians get themselves selected. They got into office. They do nothing but to steal money. All the governors, they are collecting security funds every freaking month. And yet, innocent Nigerians are losing their lives. So if you ask me, I would say, well, this ban is a kind of wake-up call, you know? That's just what I would say. Ronke said, Nigerians' life obviously don't matter to our government. People like Trump are now weaponizing our misfortune. How is this ban helping us? Uncle Dayo, do you want to address this one? How do you think the ban is helping Nigeria at this time?
Exactly my point, sir. I don't think this ban is helping Nigeria in any way, and I'll tell you why. Number one,
Okay.
if the ban has been targeted at the politicians, if the ban has been targeted at government officials, if it has been targeted at the people that are in charge of the government of this country, then I can bet you it will get and yield a positive result and a positive outcome. But the way it is now, these people, they have the money to do and undo. For instance,
Absolutely.
when you put a general ban like that, they can always pay their way sometimes out of these things. Allegedly, they can pay their way out of it. Then some of them they have all this kind of they have their documents. I mean, all these politicians, all these people, they have their papers, they have everything, which still may stand as an advantage for them to enter any country of their choice that they want. But if it's a targeted ban on politicians and government officials, they know even with their papers they cannot go in. It will make them to sit back and address the issue at hand. Like this one now, none of them will do anything. They will not come back and say, "Oh, we are being restricted." They will not say because we are being restricted, so let us solve this problem. They will not, because they are not directly affected. Are you getting me now? But if they are directly affected, they know that I cannot go to America again, and they have vested interest there, or maybe they have saved up some money there, or maybe they have some businesses there. Then they will come back home. That's when you see them calling themselves, we have to do something about this matter. But the way Amana it is now, only the poor will suffer for it. They will still believe that they can get away with it because with money, you can get away with almost anything. So to me, it's not going to be effective like that. America meant well by putting the ban, thinking that at least if they put ban on them, maybe the government will be serious. But we've known over time that Nigerians, particularly our government, the way we think sometimes is just so amazing. For lack of good words. So that's just what I'm going to say. So to me, it is not going to be effective. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Uncle Dayo say it's not going to be effective because the politicians, they can buy their way out of anything. Uncle Patrick said that, yes, President Trump is right to have restricted Nigerians. My sister Honey Babe is in the building. I'll come to you shortly, Honey Babe. I just want to read some comment. Shile said, there is no innocent Nigerians. Even your politicians are Nigerians. Absolutely, I agree with you. Desmond, what's up, brother? Desmond said, it's the responsibility of the citizens, not the politicians or the elite. Okay, now I don't get that, Desmond. Do you want to expatiate on what you mean by it is the responsibility of the citizen? Are you saying the citizens are the one who are supposed to provide security of lives and properties? So please expatiate. My brother Luke said too that he doesn't support this ban. Uncle Patty said the big one is coming to the politicians. Okay, let's see how that goes. Flourish, how are you doing? Flourish said the rate at which evil is rampant in Nigeria is worrying, and every sane person will want to dissociate with the people of such orientation. The people you are calling innocent are not innocent. Well, when I said the innocent Nigerians are the one bearing the brunt, I'm talking about these visa restriction and bans, not about the character of Nigerians in Nigeria. I know Nigerians are part of the problem, but when it comes to insecurity that led to this ban, I think we can put that squarely at the feet of the politicians. Okay? Luke said Farouk na guy, man. That Farouk, eh? Mhm. Okay, Luke also say he has resigned already, and PBAT has sent names to the Senate for another appointment. Oh, so now that Dangote is on his ass, he quickly resigned. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. I think I'm gonna have to do a short recap on his ass. I knew it. I knew Dangote was gonna take that guy to the cleaners, and they don't want to mess with Dangote anyway because he probably have a file on almost all of them. And for
Uncle
Dangote to
Ben,
have, yes, sir.
see, this particular incident, I pray that it continues to like happen. You know, you made mention of some, you played the video yesterday of Pastor, hey, I've forgotten this man's name, and he made an example of Moses, you know, that if God want to deliver people, that he's not going to use people from the low dredge in society. He's going to bring somebody from the palace to come and deliver people that are in poverty. Now, if
Yeah.
Dangote is the one that is now exposing another multi-millionaire in the country to be fraudulent, we have
Mm.
hundreds and thousands of them that are like this Farouk. Their salary and everything is not up to the amount that they
Yeah.
are spending. We know where they're getting all this money from. It's from stolen funds, and they're not hiding it.
Okay.
So Dangote just pick only one of them, and the one that he picked to like expose, maybe because that one crosses his path, or maybe because he has kind of a dealings with that one that does not go well, or maybe he wanted to prove a point. We don't know. But the thing is that there are hundreds and thousands of them. If they can keep on exposing themselves like this and they are resigning, I think over time our system can be overhauled and Nigeria may be clean
Okay.
again. But I wish this continue. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Honey Babe, if you can help me reply to these comments. Flourish said, because the masses are the same people who help politicians in rigging election, and this user, I don't get your name, he said, my friend, I'm from South Asia and Christian. We deserve to be banned. We are good for nothing. When our own people are not going to help, how can you expect USA or Europe to help? Honey Babe, over to you, my lovely sister. What do you make of the situation as regarding these visa bans?
I personally I agree. As much as it's unfortunate, as much as maybe it shouldn't be the case, I think I agree with Uncle Patrick that it's much needed, because I think this is a wake-up call for all of us as Nigerians. And I do believe in the mindset that, you know, we are the people, in the sense that the people that are in power, they're Nigerians. And I've said this over and over again, that unfortunately, in recent times, being a Nigerian is seen as a negative because of our character, our mindset, and the way we behave. The average Nigerian, if he was elected into power, would do exactly the same thing as
Honey
Tinubu.
Babe, Honey Babe,
So
are you saying because of our criminal tendencies?
I mean,
Allegedly.
it's not allegedly, it's the case. The average Nigerian, and I'm saying this from my experience, and I'm not saying everyone, the average Nigerian doesn't even enter the country legally. You have many people that overstay. You have many people that use fraudulent paperwork to come to the US, to come to Canada, to come to wherever. So if there is a lot, and I'm not saying everybody, but let's call a spade a spade. We don't do things properly. The example was that that guy that was was in jail for trying to do human trafficking. When I was speaking to people, A lot of Nigerians said they would do the same thing if their child was in
You
the
mean Ekwerimadu?
I don't know if that's the guy
His
that's in
name
jail
is
now.
Ekwerimadu, the
Yeah, yeah,
Nigerian
yeah,
senator. Yeah,
yeah.
all
The
right.
problem we have is that the average Nigerian doesn't see anything wrong with what this man did. In that, oh, the child was, he's the child. In the UK, regardless of your age, if you're vulnerable or you've been manipulated, we will be on the side of the victim. The average Nigerian doesn't believe that way is a victim because they would do the same thing. What does that tell you about the morality of the average Nigerian? That the morality is not bad. So for me, it's a wake-up call for all of us Nigerians to understand that, you know what, we need to be angry. If we're being targeted like this because of our leaders, why are we not angry? Why are we saying that we are done with this government? And I say this in seriously, look what happens in Burkina Faso. There was a coup to overturn the government because the country and the people had enough. Why are Nigerians not angry? So this is a wake-up call to every Nigerian. Don't be angry with America because from the very beginning, America doesn't care about, or Trump doesn't care about Nigerians. It's just the optics of pretending that he cares for Christians. He has now shown his true colors. So those people that were saying, oh, Trump should come, what are you saying now? Because he obviously doesn't care, because the same people that he's saying he wants to save are the same people he's stopping from coming to the US. So I think the issue is that Nigerians need to be angry and go and face the government. Maybe you need to protest. Maybe there needs to be a coup, allegedly. Maybe that's not what needs to happen for things to change. So I don't think it's the case where it should just be that they should just ban the politicians. It should be every Nigerian. Be pissed off, be angry enough to say, we are tired of this government, and try and do something about it, because other countries have done it. I'm not going to mention names, I've mentioned one name, but that's my mindset. We are all Nigerians, so it shouldn't be a case of just politicians, because these same politicians were ordinary Nigerians before they got elected. And I guarantee you, any Nigerian that will come to power will do exactly the same thing. Since 60 something, tell me one Nigerian president has done anything in Nigeria. Every single one. Selfish. Every single one doesn't give a damn about the population. So that tells you about the mindset of us as Nigerians. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but we need to be honest that us as a people, we need to change our mindset. Us as a people, we need to solve our problems. Trump is not your savior. We, the people, have to deal with it. And as I said, by any means necessary. And I say this with a passion, by any means necessary, because this is getting out of hand. Nigeria has become a country that my mother does not recognize. And she's 74. I was never born, I was never raised, but I just personally think that this is a wake-up call for every Nigerian. Be angry, protest, do whatever you need to do by any means necessary so that there has to be change.
Thank you, honey babe. I kind of agree with your submission, but right now, with the current politicians we have and with the president we have, some of those recommendation is not attainable in Nigeria. For instance, the Tinubu administration don't even want to hear protests. They don't. Any protest, their effort is always to squash it. But let's keep it moving.
Burkina Faso had a coup.
You say
there
what?
was a coup in Burkina Faso. Was that there?
No,
There was a change of regime.
right now, I can't subscribe to that. I'm sorry, unfortunately, we cannot
That's
be
okay. Nigeria will
promoting.
continue to be the Nigeria that it is. Because to me, we have done diplomacy. We are done with talking. There has to be action. Are Nigerians not tired enough?
No problem, honey babe. I think we are getting there anyway. Hopefully, January 1st is around the corner. by the time the Tinubu administration moved the so-called tax, whatever you call it, his new tax policy, by the time they begin to implement it in January, before the end of 2026, I think Nigerians will know if they have to fight for themselves or not. So we're gonna get there somehow. Let me take this comment real quick from my brother Yemi. Shout out to my brother Chucky. Chucky, come and rescue your country. Oh. They say your people no go fit come US again. Mr. Yemi said, if the ban extends to other countries, it will be very effective and it will affect all that matters. I mean the politicians. I agree to this, my brother. My baby sister, lovely sweet sister, Bilba, how you doing, mama? You're welcome. Ayodele Yemi also said, why should Trump care about Nigeria when Nigerians don't care about themselves? History has the records. Why should what Trump say matter? We are still getting it wrong. And you're right. We are still wrong. Go. And Luke said, forget the idea of protest in Nigeria, I beg. The government won't allow protests, and that is so crazy. Desmond said, right now, Ghana is trying hard to help Nigerians, but they are causing havoc in Ghana. Desmond, please, let's not even bring Ghana into this conversation right now, because I also believe that Ghanaians are as corrupt as Nigerians. I'm sorry, my brother. I think it's a disease all over Africa right now. Ronke said Trump and everyone should plan to help and not thwart individuals' effort or leave us with the mess you historically help institutionalize. Yes, that last part, Ronke, I think I concur with you on the last part. Most of the nonsensical practices we got going on in Nigeria was institutionalized by all this Western world. For instance, I can say you can hardly find a Nigerian politician that don't have houses in UK or in America or Canada. You can hardly not find one. They have foreign accounts, shell accounts all over the places. So if these countries have data that shows that money is being moved out of Nigeria, and they are not helping us, discouraging these folks from looting and stealing our money, then how are you guys helping us? You know, it's just a whole bunch of craziness going on. Anyway, I wish we had a lot of time to dive into this today, but there is no much time, and I just wanted to use the last 10 minutes of this show to cover Tinubu tax implementation and the challenges that comes with it. But we may not do that today again. We may have to move that to tomorrow, because I really want people to call in and express themselves about the Tinubu tax. In fact, by tomorrow, we should have our studio phone back again. As soon as I finish this show now, I'm going to go get the SIM for it. So for those who would like to call phone lines, by tomorrow, we will have our lines open and you can call in. Auntie Grace said, Tinubu doesn't need to want to hear it, but our people should do something and see where that takes us. The question is, who can do something when the military, the police are all in their pockets? That's the problem. Uncle Dayo.
Beno, and that is
Yes,
something
sir.
because I want to quickly balance something, okay? Sometimes
Okay.
people that are not present with us in Nigeria, they don't really grasp the gravity of the situation that we are in the country. If I myself am in the diaspora, I'll be talking the way Onibe is talking, I'll be feeling the way everybody in the diaspora is feeling. Because why? It will be like, no, Nigerians are not serious, Nigerians don't want to, they're supposed to be hungry, they're supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that. But what we have to understand is this. There's a saying that says, who will bail the cat? Who will bail the cat? The decision that is happening in this country it does not just happen overnight. It has been institutionalized. They have like taken it to become an institution. For you to rise against an institution like that, it takes nothing but a complete revolution. Now,
Hmm.
if you're going to say, because what these people are so much careful about is that they have mastered the act of using divide and rule. Do you know the reason why they weaponized poverty was because so that they can always have their way anytime any voice of dissent is rising up. Poverty is in the land. Everybody knows that. As I'm talking to you, some families are yet to have one meal today. I'm not lying about this. I'm serious about this. Some families are yet to have a meal. Most families are going on only one meal per day. In fact, the average family that are saying maybe they are okay, they are going on 2 meals in a day, maximum. And that is not even many. And when we're talking about meal, we're not talking about quality meals. Having said that, you say they are not angry enough. Every Nigerian is angry. You need to come here to see the face of the people. You need to come here to feel the frustration and the hurt and the hunger in people's eyes and all. Yes, why can't they protest? Why can't they reject? Why can't they do this? Every effort that they have ever made till date has been thwarted by the same people among them. Because all what the government has to do is to, okay, you want to rise up, right? They will just call one or two among you, give them money. That's the one that will thwart every effort that you are making. And everybody is like a crab. It's like a crab race. You put crab in a basket and you leave it open. None of them will come out because they pull each other down. It's the crab mentality. Everybody wants to come out of poverty, no matter how. They don't mind selling their family to be able to come out of that poverty. The government should just pick up somebody and say, okay, they are giving you 10 million naira. What is happening? What are you people planning to do? You want to go and sabotage it? They will gladly do it for 10 million naira. It is sellout that has made nothing to work so far in Nigeria. It's not because Nigerians are not angry. There are some people that are angry, and there are some people that are, even though they are angry, if they have an opportunity to make money out of all this evil, they will make it and they will run away. So that will, so that leads us nowhere. That's why we are where we are till today. The only thing that I know, allegedly, which may not even, because as I'm talking to you now, if you notice, the whole of Nigerian security forces have been reorganized over and over and over again. And they have the people at the end of their affairs, people that are loyal to them, which is good because every government is supposed to have people that are loyal to you at the end of your affairs. I'm not saying it's not possible, but if you're going to compare us with this Burkina Faso and Co., I don't think there is much similarity between us and them. Because Nigeria is much more vast in our own way. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Dio. My time is running out now. I'm just going to make a couple of announcements and then I'll play one last video. Then I will have my final take from my two panelists today. Of course, these are real fam and they are always my co-hosts too. Chucky said, are we as Nigerians tired of talking? Nigeria is way beyond repairable. I don't think so, Chucky. We can still fix this country. Sam Mo Crazy. That's a funny handle. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Sam said Africans should build their countries and stop traveling racist white countries. Well, we are all racist somehow, my brother, but I got your point. We should build our countries as Africans. Because Uncle Dayo, that's why Nigeria cannot be helped. Then I get this one coming from Seth Joseph. Joseph said, Nigerians, your problems are becoming a brother, don't do me like this now. Joseph said, Nigerians, your problems are becoming a disturbance to the rest of the region. Your citizens are escaping into neighboring countries, yet they are not well, no matter what you say. The laws in Ghana works. Okay, Joseph, I got you, my brother. Musa Tolulope, how you dey, Tolu? Tolu say, Uncle B, Omoyele Sowore is trying his best on the revolution, but we all need to come out and vote this regime out. The problem is, as you can see already, the APC-led government has spent almost 2 years now trying to make sure they got 2027 in their pocket. I pray God help us. Oh, may God help us. Oh, hey. Sister Yinku said, Achoki, I agree with you. Nigeria is over. Sister Yinka, I rebuke it. I rebuke it. Nigeria is not over in Jesus' name. Hey, my word, 7 days fasting and prayer. I'm gonna fast and pray for Nigeria. I still love my country, y'all. Okay, guys. One of the announcements I want to make is that I've seen several people have told me that I should be doing this political roundtable on TikTok too, but I've been running away from TikTok because I no get energy. Those people on TikTok, they're on another level. I no get strength. That's why I stick my butt right here on YouTube. But because of popular demands, maybe we might begin to do some experiment on TikTok to see how it goes. I'm going to try my possible best to make sure we can stream simultaneously on TikTok and on YouTube. If that is not going to work, then maybe we just have to do like 2 shows. Maybe for now, we can be doing like 2-3 days a week on TikTok, but the main show is still going to be here on YouTube. TikTok people too get wahala. Those young girls, young boys, and those crazy uncles and mamas on TikTok, I can't stand their energy. Make una no vex. But if you want to follow me on TikTok so that you don't get left out, that is my TikTok handle. Is Uncle Beno25. I'm still gonna discuss this with my real farm. If real farm said, okay, we get TikTok account, we can go, then we can try it. But if real farm say they know they go TikTok, I'm sorry. I'll just sit my butt right here, okay? Like I've always said, this is not just my channel. The channel belongs to many people, and we have so many programs here. So I just go by what our community recommend. But thank you very much for that suggestion again. A lot of people have reached out to me, especially because of call-ins. They usually tell me, Uncle Ben, it's easier to call in on TikTok. You can just bring people up. And I'm like, this my brain go fit carry am. So I will talk to Abby. It be like say Abby sabi TikTok. Either Abby or some of my girls. I know some of them are on TikTok. So if they can teach me how that TikTok shit work, okay, fine. Or maybe if I can get my daughter to show me how it work. But as I did like this, I'm already having bald head. I don't want anything to stress me again. Maybe the small hair will remain around my head, no go come out finish. All right. Okay. As we are rounding up right now, I wanted to play this report from Farid on I think CNN. Who know him? Is one of the eloquent folks I really like on CNN. Yeah. So Farid Zakaria, he dropped his take on this. I just want us to listen to him
Late last
briefly.
month, President Trump expanded his travel ban to 6 more countries effective later this week. The new countries include Kyrgyzstan, Myanmar, and 4 African nations. One of those is the continent's largest economy and its most populous country, Nigeria. Officials justify the ban on the basis of national security concerns. As the Washington Post reported, they say that each country has gaps in its security protocols surrounding travel that expose the United States to terror threats. But that argument doesn't really make sense. As the Cato Institute found, no one born in Nigeria, Myanmar, Tanzania, or Eritrea, 4 of the countries, have been responsible for a single terror-related death on American soil between 1975 and 2017. And if the administration were really worried about lax security, it would ban all visas from these countries. But it's only targeting permanent immigrant visas, leaving temporary visas from those countries untouched, which suggests that something else is going on here. Last year, when Trump unveiled a new immigration plan, White House aides told the Washington Post that Trump wanted high-skilled, well-educated, English-speaking immigrants who could assimilate easily and give back to the country. That's an understandable wish list for any world leader. But if that's what Trump wants, he should know that Nigerian immigrants, who make up the largest group of sub-Saharan African immigrants in the United States as of 2017, check all those boxes.
Exactly.
They are some of the most educated immigrants in America. According to the Migration Policy Institute, 59% of Nigerian immigrants aged 25 or older in the US hold at least a bachelor's degree. That is nearly double the proportion for Americans born in the US. It is also more than the proportion for immigrants from South Korea, China,
Can you please,
Britain, and Germany. And Nigeria.
Guys, please, can you give Nigerians their flowers? That's why I said I always love listening to Farid, okay? Can you give Nigerians their flowers? And in case you don't know, the reason why I'm playing this report right now is because Farid is actually touching on a very vital aspect of this Trump ban. Trump have always said he wanted educated immigrants. He wants those who can speak English, those who can assimilate easily into the American system. And yet, when you talk about all the other immigrant groups in this country, Nigeria is at the top. Education, science and technology, name it. Healthcare, name it. We are at the top. And I can tell you this for free. Any Nigerian that is coming over to the United States are already educated. We are all educated. Yes, maybe some of us may not speak the American accent and bunch of that. But when it comes to our skill set, we delivers. So that's why I am playing this Farid clip right now for people to know that, okay, what exactly is going on here? Nigerian had never been on the list of anybody who committed all these attacks in America. We never did. Nigerians are known to be hardworking and they contribute to the economy. We pay our taxes, we go to our job, we deliver, and we are good citizens of this country. So I just wanted to highlight this so people can also put this one into perspective. So thank you everybody that give Nigeria their flowers. We deserve it. And if you're wondering, hey dude, why are you saying that? I'm a Nigerian anytime, any day. And I love my country, America also. But I still can't say, oh, let me forget about Nigeria. I'm still proud of my Nigeria anytime, any day. If not because my kids are still young, I'm supposed to be in Nigeria right now, rocking Dirty December. But anyway, let's listen to the rest of the report.
Immigrants tend to work high-skilled jobs. 54% of them are in largely white-collar positions in management, business, science, and the arts, compared to just 39% of people born in the U.S. That means, of course, they have significant spending power. According to a new report by the New American Economy Research Fund, in 2018, Nigerian immigrants in the United States made more than $14 billion and paid more than $4 billion in taxes. And the Nigerian diaspora around the world sent back almost $24 billion in remittances in 2018, contributing to a Nigerian economy that is more dynamic than many people, including maybe Trump himself, realize. Nigeria was once thought to be just an oil economy, but today services account for more than 50% of its GDP. Technology is now 10%, according to the Center for Global Development. A growing middle class is increasingly educated and aspirational. Nigeria is America's second largest African trading partner, and the U.S. wants to double existing trade and investment in Africa. As the former ambassador to Nigeria, John Campbell, notes, that goal taken alongside the ban amounts to, quote, policy incoherence, unquote. In terms of politics, however, it has an obvious dark logic. Trump has often made it plain he doesn't like immigrants from poor countries filled with brown and black people. As the New York Times reported in 2017, he complained to aides that Nigerian migrants would never go back to their huts. The next year, the Washington Post first reported that in a meeting with lawmakers, he said he wanted more immigrants from Norway and fewer from Haiti and African nations, or as he famously dubbed them, shithole countries. Throughout the 2016 campaign, Trump described Mexicans as criminals and Muslims as terrorists. The Nigeria travel ban reminds us, I suppose, that Donald John Trump is back on the campaign trail.
If you understand this report, drop a 1 in the chat. If this report makes sense to you, drop a 1 in the chat. What Farid is trying to point out here is that, just like some people rightly said, that the restriction on Nigeria is not just about insecurity and other troubles we got going on, that there are deeper issues and concerns to why President Trump is restricting Nigerians. I just wanted to play this video so we can also have this perspective that maybe the president just don't like us, because, and I don't blame him, most people don't really like us, and I know that may be coming from a place of jealousy, and it might be coming from a place of Nigerians are too loud. And yes, we are loud and proud. I'm not going to run away from that. And we are achievers. Sometimes our success can even constitute threats to other people. People have asked me questions so many times, and I do believe some Nigerians would have heard this question also, when they will say, "You Nigerians, how do you do it? You guys just succeed. Nigerians can come to a place with nothing, give them 2-3 years, boom, they will be at the top. How do you do it?" So I don't know. Maybe the president also is not comfortable with our achievement. Who knows? But if I have to give my honest and candid opinion, I think beyond education, beyond our achievement and all of that, we are not doing very well at home. The country we left behind, the country we have right now that we call Nigeria, is not run in a way that people can actually respect us on the basis of where we're from. That is going to be my last take. I will have my guests to give their last take in maybe 1 minute, so I can leave now because I have to go. And then I will read your comment and we'll call it a day. Honey Babe, my lovely sister, what's your final take, sis?
Nigerians. When you are tired, yeah.
Hold on, Honey Babe. Why did you sound like a politician who is on the campaign trail right now? He said Nigerians.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is, like, Nigerians, when you are tired, I mean, I hear what Pappy is saying, but I just think there's the time for talking is done. And I understand that, the fear of protesting. It's got to a stage, yeah, where there has to be action. And for me, I'm all about any means necessary. And I still believe, if necessary, there might have to be a revolution. There might have to be a coup. Because how long is this going to go on? I mean, independence in the 60s, and in 2025, we're still at a situation where Nigeria is going backwards. You got Asian countries, you got loads of other countries that are surpassing us, and they don't even have oil. The education, the expertise, the Nigerian tenacity, it doesn't make sense why it's all a waste because we have bad government. And I'm going to say this, and I only reference this because it's something that came to my mind when Pappy was actually talking. And I know that it's like I'm comparing apples to oranges. I get it. But the point I'm trying to make is that there was a time where the South Korean president, I think he wanted to do some type of, I can't remember what it's called, comment section, please tell me. But he tried to do some type of executive order. I don't know what it is, military something or whatever. The South Koreans all came out. They were climbing over the presidential gates. This man now is no longer the president of South Korea. So I'm just trying to make an example is that people came together, and I know that South Korea, in terms of the population, is much, much smaller. Yes, it's an Asian country, totally different way of being, governed. But the point I'm making is that everybody came together, and people were rocking down to the president's, wherever, building, and they were climbing over the gates, protesting. The guy was scared. Within, I don't know what it is in South Korea, but the equivalent of the Senate or whatever it is, they had to literally run and basically hold like a session in secret because there was military everywhere, and they rescindicated the order. They got the military to arrest the South Korean president. That is power, because it's the people coming together. And that's the problem I have, that we don't have that unity. Yes, the military is there, but if you got 200 million Nigerians, for God's sake, if every Nigerian in Nigeria came together, that's power. Do you understand what I'm saying, UB? And I think that's where the problem is. If our attitude is, and people can say to me, yes, I'm not based in Nigeria, I get it. But I know what I'm doing in the UK. I know what I'm doing. I've said many, many times, I did a politics degree. I'm doing so many things at the moment. And right now, I'm actually being persuaded to become a councillor in my local area. That's me making a difference where I'm based. And what I'm trying to say, that for me, every Nigerian, 200 million Nigerians need to say enough is enough. We're tired, and come together. Because I've just given you one example. There's another Asian country that basically, I don't know, I can't remember the country, but I know it's in the news, and maybe Mama Five mentioned it, but there was another Asian country, something similar, and they came together. That guy is that person or president or whatever is no longer in power. So there's power when we all come together. And I just believe that Nigerians, enough is enough. And when I say I'm angry, when I say, are you angry? Yes, you should be angry, but you need to do something with that anger. Because the excuse that there's poverty, I get it. There's poverty not just in Nigeria. Don't get me wrong, but it's the time of talking is over. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yes. Thank you, honey babe. I can feel your energy. Everybody can feel your energy right there. But my brother Kene, shout out to you. But like Kene is saying right now, data boys have propaganda machine support from Aso Rock. The coming together will take a minute. And for those who don't understand what Kene is saying, this current administration have people they paid to spread propaganda online. Like the show we're having right now, some of them I'll be watching right now, some of them I get to see the show later. When you read their comments, you will know these are data boys because they are thinking from their asses. So anytime you try to mobilize, to protest, or to have collective demands and stuff like that, these data boys will be the one to thwart the effort. And that is one of the reasons why I really don't fancy President Tinubu's administration. He's so afraid of protest. He just don't want to have it. He don't want to hear it and things like that. But well, it is what it is. And that's why I'm happy about the tax situation that is going to happen in Nigeria very soon. Because with that tax, when everybody started paying through their noses, when everybody started crying, with the little money they are making, by the time the government is squeezing them dry, and well, that's a conversation for another day. But thank you, Kenny, for that. I really like that angle right there, because these data boys are the one on X. They are on Facebook. They are everywhere. You will see them. They come and attack you. They will pretend like they have some logical submission, but once you read their submission, you just know that they are talking from their asses. They have nothing to offer. They are even right here on YouTube. You will see so many shows where they dominate the show, the way they talk. You can just tell that, man, these folks are crumb eaters. So, can they also say Bulgaria government just resigned because of protests in the millions by the people? Yeah, they're not gonna let that happen in Nigeria. So it's crazy. Tax kid, is that Texas Kiddo? TX is Texas, so I don't know if that's what it means. Texas Kiddo said, Uncle B, during Jonathan's regime, Tinubu is always in the forefront of protests. So he knows exactly why he's scared of protests as citizens speaking up. Yes, they spend a lot of money to make sure people don't get to speak up. And the way they do it, is the people who are closer to you, even people who are suffering. They are the one who will come and attack you when you speak. So sometimes some of us, we just decide, say, let's just speak our truth. Who want here, go here. Who no one here. Now then, Sabi. All right. Uncle Dayo, what is your final take, sir? Because I got to go. Uncle
Thank,
Dayo.
thank you, Uncle Beno. Thank you. I was just trying to answer my brother at Shoki because he said something about Nigeria not being powerful again, and I'm trying to tell him that yes, we are no longer powerful. However, but we are still the
Talking the
greatest
verse.
economic
Talking
potential
the
in the
verse
country
about the
because
situation. Talking the
even
verse of the situation in
now,
Nigeria.
despite our situation now as Nigerians, we are still the greatest economy because even now we are discovering new mineral almost on a daily basis in Nigeria. Minerals that we don't know that we had before. And that unfortunately is one of the reasons why we are having insecurity is a part of the country because they are just discovering minerals almost all over the country. So when we are talking about economic potential, we are still the greatest in Africa. But if we are talking in terms of power, then I can tell you that we have lost our power, we have lost our focus, we have lost our stance. No doubt about that. But we are still the greatest economy. Now, my last take is that whatever it is, let the whole world, if at all they will do something to help Nigeria, let them do something that will be directed mostly at the government. I tell you, we are over 200 million people in this country, and about 65% are still living below poverty level in this country. So what are we talking about? You cannot expect people that are hungry, that are trying to survive, that are barely living, to be the one to go out and fight. They can easily be compromised. Hunger is a weapon, poverty is a weapon. They can easily be compromised. Yes, hunger is supposed to make you angry, hunger is supposed to make you bitter. I know we may get to that stage in our lives whereby people say, if I die, I die. I mean, if I buy, I buy. Let me go and do what is right. But for now, no, the things are not yet working yet. But we know, and I believe that eventually we shall get there. As the whole world is waiting for Nigeria to rise up, as the whole world is waiting for us in Nigeria to do the right thing, to take back our country, we will surely get there one day. And when we do, and Nigeria rise up again, Africa will rise again. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Dayo. Thank you, Honey Babe. I really appreciate the two of you helping me make sense today. And a big shout out to everybody in the chat. We're gonna be back tomorrow on another political roundtable. Trust me, we will continue to speak, and hopefully we can bring about the most changes we desire. Thank you, Uncle Dayo. I'll chat you later, sir. Take care. All right, my lovely brother, Texas Kid, I really appreciate you, sir. God bless you very much. Texas Kid say, thank you so much for this platform. I was just passing by, but you gained a new subscriber today. Ooh, yay! Make a clap for you, my brother Jare, you sabi. Yeah, guys. Thank you. That means the show is kind of interesting, right? And I think it's also entertaining. Thank you, everybody, for the contribution. I really, really appreciate your take. I would have loved to run like a 2-hour show, but I have to work. These Donald Trump and people, they did our neck, and I live in America, so I have to run now. But I really appreciate you. I go live on Political Roundtable 11 a.m. to sometimes 1:30, sometimes 2 p.m. And that is Central Standard Time. So for those in Nigeria, that should be like around 4 or 5 in the evening. And those in the UK should be like around 4 or 5 also. So you can join us as we dissect some of the issues bothering we Nigerians and the rest of Africa. Hey, BB Crane, how you doing? BB Crane said, I believe until they use these new tax reforms to squeeze I'm sorry. I don't know. I just kind of find a lot of people who shared my sentiment today. Bibi, it seems you shared my sentiment, bro. Bibi said, I believe until they use this new tax reform to squeeze out the nonchalant attitude from some Nigerians before a revolution will take place. I swear, I'm so happy about the tax this, because I know, say, when they collect your money where you work hard for, and they are not providing nothing, you will be forced to ask them questions, just the way they do in the other part of the world. So thank you, Bibi, for that. I love that. God bless you. Tashnot, how are you doing, beautiful sister? Tashnot said, the world is not waiting for Africa to rise. They've left Nigeria behind. It's so unfortunate, my sister. It's looking like that. Individually, we are doing perfectly okay. I mean, not all of us, especially me, a lot of people in Nigeria are not doing okay, but at least to some extent, individually, Nigerians are doing okay. But when it comes to us as a country, oh, I'm so sorry to say we are a mess. Stainless, how you doing, Stainless ladies? Stainless says, some of us have been paying tax for years already. We said that here on this show, Stainless. I grew up, knew my uncles were paying taxes. And I know I have a lot of friends back in Nigeria, neighbors, who work for government and some good corporation. They also pay taxes. Nothing comes out of all of that, so I know. Still, I say I have been paying tax in Nigeria for over 20 years already. Oh, my God. Oh, sorry, Stainless. Sorry. All right, my people. That's all I can take today. Desmond, I feel you, my brother from Ghana. Desmond, not be every time they do competition. We and our Ghanaian brothers and sisters, we are always competing in everything. Desmond don't talk today now, say Nigeria should come and learn from Ghana. But I love that spirit, my brother. Thank you very much for being here. Desmond said Nigeria economy is falling behind some other African countries, which you should know by now. I know, my brother. We all know. We know they deceive ourselves. Ezekwesili said, we are really in trouble in Tinubu hand. Oh, my sister. May God help us. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you to all the real fam. My brother Chucky, thank you, Uncle Patrick, thank you, Bilba, thank you, my Abby, everybody. Abby is coming live shortly. Abby have a fantastic show for us today. I may have to join Abby shortly. You know our baby girl. Abby always bring it 100. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye for now.
UBMC, we rise. Learn the skills, yeah, we go online. Uncle Ben will show the way we shine. Create your dream, build your life. UBMC, it's our time. UBMC, it's our time. UBMC, it's our time.
You are watching Political Roundtable with UB. Like, subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments.